Well, that's a long story. A friend of mine was, I was a Mercedes owner, and my friend was the actual dealer in Haverfordwest, which is where Don spent a lot of his younger...
Every start of the potato season, you're dead right.
That's right. So Pembrokeshire being a favourite spot of Don's. Anyway, I was introduced to a television star, which Johnny Briggs, who was the star on Coronation Street, a popular soap opera in the UK. Well, he was known as Mike Baldwin in the show.
Yes.
Anyway, there was a deal going on that they told me about where if we came to Florida and looked at some homes and we were successful in buying one, we'd get our airfares back. So being all golfers, we took Don and Yvonne up on that opportunity, and within a couple of weeks we were flying out to Florida. They put us up in a hotel. So we came over and we had a look at the homes on Sandpiper and just decided there and then, you know, the value for money and the way it was looked after, I suppose, and made friends with Contempo. We bought a property.
So I think that word you just said, Bill, we made friends, and I think that was the secret of us. It's what we've always tried to do with a potential buyer or renter or guest or owner, that we've tried to make friends with you all. And I've been very lucky to have the friendship of you and the people that came with you on that first visit, but have you particularly and your family as friends. And that's going back now 28, 29 years, isn't it?
Absolutely.
What a nice connection you made for us, for Contempo, and for Yvonne and myself. It was a personal thing, wasn't it?
Well, I think it was both ways.
Yes.
I mean, it was like a family. Contempo is like a family.
Yes.
And some of the people I met first, Gary is still here.
Yes.
And I met Gary's son, who was just knee-high to a grasshopper when I first came.
Jordan, who is now a manager of
50,
60 homes or more.
And he's already been looking after me since I've been in one of your homes in Providence. So.
Yeah, very true. And it's brought about the friendship and recommendations of other people that have bought homes from us, of connections of yourselves, or connections of the group that we travelled that day.
Yeah. One of my friends, very generous to the T, to a fault. He was always letting his friends come and stay in the property, and it was nearly always full. So when I wanted to come over, I had to see who was in there. So eventually I bought another property which was next door to yourself, if you remember.
Oh, most definitely.
Huntington Hills, which is was just my life, that was. I mean, it was a dream come true, and I was fortunate enough to live next door to Don and Yvonne, and Yvonne looked after the property for me, and just enjoyed many stays there and barbecues, and I like cooking, so I used to invite the guys
we've experienced all that very many, a number of times.
Well, I think anybody that's had dealings with Contempo, I'm sure that they're still customers of Contempo and will continue to be as long as you get the treatment that you get and that you give. I mean, it is personal, and you do care about your guests. So.
I think that
and the properties, which is more important. Yeah.
That's one of the things we try to pride ourselves on, that everybody in the team, they know very well, every member, and I'm blessed with a very good team of people that make this job worthwhile and not easy, but doable, which is that we all know that we honour and respect the owner of the house who allowed us and gave us, as you did, all that trust on day one when you bought the house, and allowed us to do the rental and management all these years that we've had.
Yeah.
Many of our owners now are in double digits of years together with Contempo, and it's given us that opportunity to do so. But we recognise those two people pay all the bills, and we know that. And if we don't respect them, we would be very foolish.
Absolutely.
And we've always tried to do so, have always done so. Do we make mistakes? Of course we do, but we know how to handle a mistake, and I think that's why we've shown you a commercial side to us as well as a friendship.
I think that works both ways, man. I think the property owners have to have that respect for you as well, because if they don't keep their properties up to standard and spend the money to keep it decorated, well decorated and looked after in terms of furniture and keeping it as the photographs suggest it is, yeah. That's important too. So I just wish you luck with that, and every owner that you've got, that they do look after you as well as you look after them. So
we always do our best, and we always attempt to do so. Thank you for saying that, because it is appreciated, and it's what we always try to do.
Well,
no question about it. He came across there was a gamble for him to come across and have a look and see. But the trust we created in that first week spoke for itself in the fact that all of the four, I think it was 4 people, there was a total of 4, and I think they all bought a house from us then. And I think that to come across, and that was our visit when we actually decided to move personally back to America, having lived in LA when Contempo was first bought. The benefit was that we had 4 very nice people, led by Bill, who we gained that respect, luckily, of Bill, and therefore he's passed it on. But without Bill in those days, and whoever else has come along since, without that person recommending us, talking about us freely, we don't ask Bill to say nice things. He speaks from his heart, his own personal feeling. And that is what the secret is, that what is it that's helped this company? It is the fact that we met Bill in that first week, managed to show them that we felt that what we could do for them, we could sell them a piece of property that we would be able to manage and rent and cover the bulk of their overheads, so that they could use that house for their personal use themselves at very little, if any, cost, apart from getting here. And that proved to be the case, hence that Bill is sat here today, almost 30 years later, talking to us, that he may be buying again. If anybody talks to Bill about a piece of property in Florida, I'm quite sure that he recommends, tells people who he trusted and who he felt that they could trust, and it's brought a number of people, a number of connections. And then that led me to believe that this was a project, having brought the industry to Florida in its first instance in 1990, which was I copied what I did in Spain years ago prior to that, and felt that it would suit Orlando. It has suited Orlando today, 30 years later. Contempo, for example, will accommodate some 40 to 50,000 people during the year, and that's the proof that what we did then and what Bill believed in has come true, and that is the benefit that it's given us, having met Bill and his friends. That showed us we could perhaps do it, and we would hope to continue to do it from those days, and here we are still 30 years later doing the same thing. So I can only say, Bill, how nice that helped me to believe in what we were doing, because it was your answers and your decisions to do what you did do that enabled us to think this is real, and it's proven over the years now to be so, because I believe the industry is millions, if not billions, a year into Central Florida it brings into, and all the jobs that it brings with it has helped Orlando to grow because of its natural entertainment place, and it's number one place in the world now for resort, and even for buying property. Forbes tell me that in writing that we are the number one place to buy a piece of property today in the world. So what is it that we started? Because you bought a house from me, I believed in it, that I could do it, and thank you for that. You gave me that belief in myself.
Well, thanks for the compliment, but Don, I don't think you would have ever failed. You've got a great team around you, and
yes.
your vision was, well, it's proven anyway, proven itself with what's happened. And it's nice to see such a growing company and so many people working for you. I think got about 100 staff, which is
total. Yes, when we
amazing.
count housekeeping,
yeah,
and maintenance, and lawn and
laundry
pool, and it does bring. And the industry has brought hundreds or thousands of jobs into Central Florida and helped the economy of everybody that lives in Florida. We've helped the economy in a big way.
I'm sure you have.
And enabled a lot more people to come here because
there's a lot of people copied you, that's for sure.
Yes, yes, there has, and that it's good competition.
Absolutely.
And some of
you couldn't do it all anyway, could you?
No, my goodness, my God, no. to what it is now, the number of visitors into our homes counts tremendously to the economy.
A lot of things, I suppose. The first is to promote what you're selling in a proper manner. That the customer knows exactly what they're going to get when they come here. Many times I've rented homes and in different countries, and the photographs don't depict what the property looks like when you get there. And I think Contempo take great care in making sure that the properties are up to standard, that the customers are not disappointed when they get there. If anything does go wrong during the stay, the service, there's always somebody there almost immediately. It's just hard work looking after the client, and making sure the client looks after you again is important. So you can only succeed together, and the quality of staff that you've got,
Yes.
excellent. I mean, you can't fault them. Always pleasant. They look after you when you come here. You've just got it right. I mean, you've got it spot on.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's a very, very nice words to say.
Well, you're not going to
very kind.
succeed unless you achieve all those things, are you?
No.
You can be as nice as you like, but unless the properties are up to the standard and the service that you give is top notch, then people have got a lot of choices to rent homes in Florida, and they can easily go elsewhere. So your life depends on it, and your livelihoods depend on you being exactly and doing what you're selling and showing to the customer that that's what they get, and that's what they do get, and I can say that quite honestly.
Well, you see, going back to that first visit, when we talk to you and listen to you, you're a businessman of repute in your own world, and it's people like you make comments to people like me that I learn from and listen intently, so that I can pass on to the people that I'm lucky enough to work with, that copy the wishes of somebody like yourself on that first visit. This is what we need, this is what we look for, this is what we hope for. Our job is to make sure that we provide that which you look for. If we can do that, we're going to be successful. And like I said, do we always get it right? Of course we don't. But at least we know, you kindly said that if something goes wrong, there's always somebody around very quickly to attempt to put it right, or to actually put it right. If they can't, they know somebody that will, or you won't stay in that particular property. We always know our job as far as an owner is concerned. It's to say thank you for trusting us with all those hundreds of thousands of dollars that you do, and to look after to the piece of property to the level that you want it. Second to that, we have to merge that with the wishes of the guest that helps to pay for the piece of property and the investment that you've made, to enable it to bring some money in as well and enable you to enjoy it yourself. That our job is to look after that person too. And as long as we do that, as I said earlier, we know full well that it is thanks to you that we have a business to be able to rent, and thanks to the guest that rents, that enables us to look after your needs and wishes. And yeah, that's always been our aim. It'll never change. That I'm sure of all the people in this team, that is all they consider and think about.